The Open, or the British Open, arguably one of the most prestigious golf competitions in the world. Founded in 1860, the oldest competition, first hosted at Prestwick Golf Club in Scotland, now one of the four major competitions in the golfing world. The weekend just past saw the world's most elite golfers compete in the 151st Open at Royal Liverpool Golf Club, a demanding course with a strong sea wind lashing through the course, pulling the ball into the infamous thick, juicy rough, swallowing up any unsuspecting golfer's ball. This week, we're talking golf, a fairly new love of mine, but also reflecting on how this sport has impacted my life and what it means in my journey of faith. As much as I'd like to simply talk about the events of the weekend, I write this podcast before the Open has actually started, so I can't tell you who wins. However, as I record this, McIlroy is sitting on even par through 15 of his second round, and Tommy Fleetwood is on -5 in second place. But no, instead, this week will be my personal testimony in a way, a brief update into my life and my thoughts on faith at the moment. I'm Sam, and I do hope you enjoy. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to Selah, Time to Pause.
I will stop and breathe in your presence. Just breathe. Just breathe.
About 16 months ago, I started to get really into golf. My pal and I decided we were going to get memberships at a fairly cheap golf club, which happened to be halfway between our houses. Once a week, we'd play 9 or 18 holes of golf, attempting to get a tiny ball into a tiny hole for 2 or maybe 4 hours at a time. Now, I class myself as a fairly decentish sportsman. My hand-eye coordination is pretty good, I'm fairly fit and athletic, and played a lot of sports in my time. But who'd have thought it would be so hard to hit a stationary ball in the right direction? I'd find myself zigzagging from rough to rough, either side of the fairway, eventually getting close enough to the hole to knock the ball, probably not the one I started with, into the hole. Through my life, I feel I can say I've been quite a patient man. Probably best shown and brought on in the time spent when I was a teacher and a teaching assistant, working with particularly challenging and difficult young people. But golf seems to be the thing that tests me the most. Throughout my golfing career, if I can call it that, I've been slowly getting better and better. Practicing my golf game, heading to the range to practice my swing, watched countless YouTube videos on how to improve and get better. I'm a strong ambassador of the Rick Shields golf tutorials. But no matter how good I seem to get, no matter how many good shots I seem to do, far too often does that hook or slice of the ball into the trees, never to be seen again. Or I start getting overconfident, smash the ball as hard as I can, a full 2 yards in any random direction. There's so much this game teaches about patience and resilience. Proverbs 15 verse 18 says, "Hot tempers cause arguments, but patience brings peace." Definitely in my golf game, patience does bring peace, and hot tempers cause a few choice words. As much as practicing technique is important, the thing that always pops up in the game of golf as a significant factor is mindset. It's that thing that separates the amateurs from the pros. It's so easy to get into a downhill spiral when these terrible shots start creeping in. Suddenly, all the confidence you've built up over the years and rounds disappear to nothing. From my experience so far, it seems the better you get, the more annoying and frustrating these downfalls are. And that's the same in life. No matter how many joys and prizes there are, one minor thing can completely alter our mood and mindsets. And as Ian's been talking about in his podcast on Job, the devil tries to throw things at us and push us off track, pull us away from God, and stop us reaching our full potential. Instead of focusing on these downfalls, as we stand up to make our next shot, or to complete our next task, or simply wake up and face the next day, we must try and look to the joys and grace we've been freely given, should we choose to accept it. What defines us is not our failings, it is our strength given by the Lord who calls us his children, who protects us and gives us the ability and strength and power to overcome anything put in front of us. Now, I should point out, I mentioned at the start of this episode, I do quite like this game, and I don't just find it frustrating. It's definitely a chilled and relaxing game when played with the right mindset. And surprising to some, with my introverted nature, this means I do really enjoy playing a couple of holes of golf all by myself. And I find that by myself, I'm always a bit more relaxed and generally play better because of it. It's a shame no one sees it really. But every now and then, my peaceful round is interrupted. I'll meet a golf friend. Either a group who think I'm lonely, or a guy who's also alone looking for a friend. I'll hear that dreaded phrase, "Do you want to play together?" Now, to start with, I always said, "No, it's okay." But after a few times of saying no, I felt something or someone telling me, "Why are you always saying no?" Maybe I need to start making the most of these situations. And in addition to this, my pal Elizabeth always says, we as humans and as Christians are called to build relationship with people. The best way to share God is to show love. And my other pal Josh also always says, love God, love others. It's that simple. But yet there's still me on the golf course saying, no, I don't want to make new friends. So I had a word with myself. I can't always hide behind my quiet shyness. Yes, there is sometimes a place for this, but it's not always helpful. Next time, I'm going to say yes to the invitation. I mean, I could always invite somebody else, but let's take this one step at a time. So one day, having forgotten all this, I head to the course, by myself, headphones in, planning to just be out for an hour and a half. Let's see how many holes I get through and not really keep score. I play the first 4 holes, and suddenly there's a queue in front of me. I've caught up with a few groups of golfers playing really slowly in front of me. Nightmare. But no, my mindset will not be faltered. I'm practicing being cool, calm, and collected. I am defined by the one who made me, not my downfalls. Breathe. We got this. Then suddenly, it happened. I'm waiting on the tee for the people in front of me to finish the hole, minding my own business, and I see a hand in the distance wave me through. Oh no, pressure. Breathe. Okay, I set up, a little practice swing, and bam, nailed my drive right down the centre of the fairway. Oh yeah. And I start walking down the hole, the long walk down to my ball. And the guy that waved me through starts walking over to me. Hey man, beautiful shot. Oh yeah, thanks. Best drive I've done all day. Ha 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 ha. Bit of banter, and it turns out he's on his own as well. And then here comes the line. It's quite busy today. Do you want to play together? And having forgot my talking to, my instincts instantly tried to work out how to get out of this. Think, Sam, think. I open my mouth, and out comes, yeah, sure, why not? Oh no, what have I done? But it turns out this guy was on his own because his mate was feeling a bit worse for wear, so couldn't make it. And he was very grateful that he now had someone to chat to. And turns out, despite my usual instincts, so was I. We talked about all sorts. Golf, shared tips we'd both learnt from the same Rick Shields YouTube tutorials, work, life, what we'd done that weekend, and the night out the night before that turned out to be the reason his mate hadn't made it to the golf course, and my similar, slightly less wild evening with my friends. I mentioned that I'd been to church that morning, and he asked a few small questions about my faith, but nothing much detail. And we carried on just playing golf and chatting about not a lot. And then my original plan of just playing for an hour and a half, see how far I get, turned into a full 18-hole round 5 hours later. Shook hands on the 18th green and even swapped numbers to arrange another round.
You've made a new friend. Oh, a friend?
Now this is a semi-random story, I know, but I guess it kind of illustrates what can come from putting ourselves out of our comfort zone. I didn't have any groundbreaking conversations or invite someone to come to faith. And it might also be a stretch to compare it to when Jesus called Peter to step out of his comfort zone and walk on the waves of the storm. But I guess I just did. Jesus calls us to step out, and when we do, amazing and sometimes impossible things happen. And besides, like Elizabeth and Josh say, the best way to share the gospel and faith is just by relationship. Chatting, being yourself, who God made you to be, and caring, showing love. Now, I've not actually played golf again with this guy, but I hope to do so soon. And who knows where the conversation will go. But even if I don't, maybe that small conversation we had was just exactly what he or I needed that day, and will be a smaller stepping stone in my and his journey to grow in faith with Christ. Only God knows what effect my simple acceptance of an invitation to play golf with a stranger will lead to. But what I know is that I'm glad I did, and I'm glad I followed the call to step out of my comfort zone. So I'm going to leave you today with a song called Dear God by Corey Asbury. A song, or even a prayer to God, that although I talked about it in a more light-hearted way, has the same essence of my story. It's a guy trying to do better, but doesn't always think they're doing the right thing or doing a very good job of it. A guy that tries and tries, but seems to fall and can't seem to see any effects from their actions. But I hope and pray that, as it says in the song, if you feel like that, God sees you and loves you and your actions have impact, meaning, and worth. If you accept the invitation to step out of the boat, out of your comfort zone, who knows where God will take you?
Dear God, I've been trying awful hard to make you proud of me, but it seems the harder that I try, oh, the harder it becomes, and I feel like giving up most of the time. Dear God, I've been chasing their approval and it's killing me. And I know the more I try to prove, oh, the less I have to show. And I'm stuck inside my head most of the time. But if I pray a little harder, if I follow all the rules, I wonder, could I ever be in love? 'Cause I try and try just to fall back down again, and I ask myself, why do I try to chase the wind? I should lean into the mystery. Maybe hope is found in the melody. So I wanna try again. Oh, I'm gonna try again. And dear child, I hope you know how much I love you, and I'm proud of you. And please believe the thoughts I have for you will never change or fade away. And when you felt like giving up, I never did. 'Cause I'm not scared of imperfections or the questions in your head. Just know that you have always been in love. 'Cause you try and try, and I saw you wrestle with every how, every why. I was right there listening. So just fall into the mystery, and I'll meet you here in the melody. Try just to try again. Oh child, would you try again? My child, you can love again.
Hello, this has been Selah Time to Pause, a podcast from Plexus Salvation Army, an online church in the UK.
I'm Ian.
I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Sam.
If you've enjoyed journeying with us over these last few weeks, join us every Monday
Or any day that works for you.
to spend time together, taking time out to pause, catch our breath, draw near to God and refresh our spirits.
We share Bible teachings,
Reflections on songs we're listening to,
And on what's going on in the world around us.
as well as this. On the last day of the month, we look back and reflect, share any thoughts from our listener community, and ask what we can take from it into our daily living.
what we call our personal So What's for the month.
Join us, making us part of your regular routine, spending a few minutes to listen to what God might be saying to you.
Find us on your favourite podcast streaming service
On Facebook,
Or YouTube.
by searching for Selah,
that's SELAH.
Time to Pause.
We also would like to let you know that we have an exciting one-year opportunity for someone to join our team as a digital community mission facilitator with a focus on social media. This role requires a sense of vision, purpose, and creativity as we pioneer a new expression of the Salvation Army to develop online community as a means to help people explore their spiritual journey in creative and relevant ways. Could this be you? Or maybe even someone you know? Applications close on the 30th of July 2023. Check out the link in our description or on our social media pages for full details and how to apply.